Hey, it's Ontario, and the NFL has been going through a remodeling of sorts. There's been a number of big name injuries that's going to cause teams to have to change their strategy this season. Not only that, but there seems to be new frontrunners in each division compared to last year. This year is going to be an interesting one to watch, and if you have a fantasy team to look over this year, make sure you fall in love with the waiver wire. The waiver wire is definitely where you'll find people to replace notable injuries like Saquon Barkley, George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo, and if they get injured, the best thing you can do mainly is just to pick up their backup or look for other starters on other teams that maybe weren't getting a lot of shine in the beginning of the season, but are set up to really just break out and go ahead and have a better third, fourth week, or second half of the season more so. So notable injuries. First, I'll go over the Niners. They had 7 notable injuries this season, or mainly just last week. The Niners, Raheem Mostert, he sprained his MCL, so he'll be out at least a couple weeks before he'll be back on a week-to-week basis. There's Jimmy Garoppolo, who has a high ankle sprain, and a high ankle sprain with that is basically week to week, especially playing quarterback. Mainly just depends on his pain tolerance. George Kittle also has a knee sprain. He'll be out at least a couple more weeks, but the Niners aren't putting him out to, not tough it out and play through the game. But I would imagine Kyle Shanahan's plan is to not really force his star tight end back into playing too soon and make the injury worse. There's Tevin Coleman, and Tevin Coleman, he sprained his knee. And so because of that, Kyle Shanahan seems to be pretty, he's taking it pretty seriously due to the fact that Tevin Coleman, he's kind of a all-around running back for them. He'll catch the ball, come out of the backfield, so he's important to that team. So that seems to be the injury that he's most worried about right now. And then Deebo Samuel, he's still not back from that foot injury that he got in training camp, but he should be back soon. And then there's Dee Ford, their defensive end, who they got from the Chiefs this offseason, and he's still dealing with his back injury that he got. So they're waiting on him to come back. But, a lot of the injuries that they have for the most part aren't season ending, so the Niners should be good in a few weeks to come. Then there's the Raiders, and the only notable injury that they really have is Jonathan Abram in his shoulder. He crashed into a camera during the game when they're playing the Saints this last Monday. And because of that, he says he feels fine. He says it's not serious. But due to the season-ending shoulder surgery that he had, they're definitely not taking it lightly, and they're going to go ahead and make sure that everything's good and copacetic. The Colts, they lost Paris Campbell to MCL and PCL tear, so he'll be out for the season. So if you had Paris Campbell on your team, you saw that he was coming on pretty strong, but due to that, you should look to the backups or look to the other receivers. So T.Y. Hilton, that's one receiver. Um, Also, their tight ends are also pretty big factors in the offense. So like Jack Doyle, he wouldn't be a bad pickup if you have fantasy or anything like that. Um, there's also Malik Hooker, who tore his Achilles, so he'll be out for the season. So that's definitely a big blow to the defense, but it's nothing that they can't do. They have a pretty good defense all around, so I'm sure they have some pretty good backup players there. Then the Broncos, they had a pretty big blow this season or this last game. They lost Cortland Sutton to ACL tear, and because of that, they're gonna have to rely on rookies like Jerry Jeudy, and then also probably their backfield a lot more, like the running backs Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay when he comes back. But Cortland Sutton, he had missed the first 2 games, or the first game due to a shoulder injury. Came back the second game, was playing pretty good, had 3 catches for about 66 yards, and then tore his ACL. So it's pretty sad to see, but you can expect that, he'll rehab and come back stronger next year. And then the Giants probably have the most notable injury of all, and that's because Saquon Barkley tore his ACL. And because of this, he won't be playing this season, obviously. And the Giants have had to go out and look at other running backs for them to sign and bring on. And the Giants have went ahead and signed Devontae Freeman, who played for the Falcons last season. And Devontae Freeman, he's had his ups and downs, and he's been pretty good. But it'll be interesting to see how he fits into that Giants offense. But you can assume that they'll use him a lot. They signed him to a 1-year deal worth about $3 million. And then they also have Dion Lewis if they want to go ahead and give him the third down running back duties. So, they're handling it pretty well, and all I can do is just hope that Saquon Barkley is doing better. And currently, there's 11 teams left undefeated. So in the NFC, we have the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Bears, and the Packers. And in the AFC, we have the Ravens, the Steelers, the Chiefs, the the Raiders, the Titans, and the Bills. So those teams are currently the ones left undefeated. Whether it's due to strength of schedule or not, they'll definitely be tested this weekend. This weekend, the Raiders play the Patriots, and everybody knows the Patriots are good year in, year out. So the Raiders being 2-0 and the Patriots being 1-1 will definitely show who the better team is, because the Patriots, they lost last week to the Seahawks, who are still undefeated. So it'll be a good test and a good showing. Then we have the Bills and Rams, and both teams are undefeated currently. So it'll be interesting to see how that matchup plays out. But I have a feeling that it'll be a defensive game more than anything, due to the fact that both teams pride themselves on their defense. Then you have the Cowboys versus Seahawks, and the Cowboys are 1-1, but normally they're a good team year out, year in, year out. Usually the Cowboys are a good team year in and year out, and they're going to be playing the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are 2-0. Go ahead, go in right here. So the Cowboys, they're good year in, year out, but this year they have a new coach. And the new coach, Mike McCarthy, used to be the coach for the Packers. So far, he's led the Cowboys to a 1-1 record. But they did get a good win over the Falcons, so that's something to build on. And we'll go ahead and see if the Cowboys could go ahead and take Russ off his MVP campaign, because it seems like this year that's what he's coming for. And then we have the Packers versus the Saints. And the Packers are 2-0 and the Saints are 1-1. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I have a feeling that Aaron Rodgers, who's on his revenge tour, will also, put up big numbers, and they might get the best of that game, but we'll see. And then the Chiefs versus the Ravens. Both teams are undefeated. Both teams have quarterbacks that were considered for the MVP last season, so you could go ahead and assume that they're going to take this game personal and go ahead and put up crazy numbers. So it'll be a fun game to watch, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how these matchups play out this weekend, but more importantly, it'll show whether or not some of these teams are the real deal this year. It's only the third week of football this year, but it's already looking better than the previous due to the spread of talent. I'll be back next week to report the results to you guys.